Kelly's not.
Kelly said he wouldn't be.
Delman's not.
Do you guys want to scoot down this way?
If you would like this to, ma'am.
Would you want us?
No, whatever you all feel comfortable doing.
It's easier on the camera.
Yeah, go.
I thought you were going to be on tonight.
I do too.
And did your hearts ache for me?
Did.
And, you know,
Did.
what's that? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Something like that.
Fooled you. Fooled you.
I won't. I tried once.
You know what happened? Now, if Delman comes, we'll just make him sit over there. You guys,
Does he have to come up in front of the group?
no, Delman is, but Dave,
Pearson.
Dave Pearson is. So, let's pick up and move on.
No, I'll just move a chair. This is yours. Just move a chair.
Oh, I see.
Do you guys want me to play some music?
Thanks.
Yes, please. Are you going to stop it right away?
Wow.
You manage it all. Thanks for doing the hard part.
What happened?
It was a miss.
Okay, that's probably not what I
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Thursday, September 27th, 2012 Board of Directors regular meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have our Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, September 29th, 2012 at 1 p.m. and Monday, October 1st, 2012 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. And the open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. And now we have the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. If there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak, please fill out a card with the board clerk. And Madam Clerk, at this time, do we have any cards?
I have no cards at this time.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Chair will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Directors Monk,
Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Barzali, Newcomer,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Kelly, Clark, Pearson absent. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. And then apologies for not checking ahead of the meeting time here, but Council in Chief, with the closed session items that we can, do we need to address those earlier in the meeting, or shall we save those till later in the meeting? Depending, it just depends upon outside counsel.
Yeah, we can go, Deputy Chief Wells says we can go at the end of the meeting. We don't have legal counsel present other
Okay,
than
no
general
outside
counsel.
counsel. All right, thank you very much. We will move directly into action items. Number one, resolution approving a service agreement with Benefits Communication Network. Mr. Campo, as well as Chief Wells, welcome to the podium.
Good evening, directors. Mark Wells, Deputy Campo. Tonight we were talking about bringing for the staff is recommending approval of an agreement with the Benefits Communication Network to provide a benefit and retirement planning and counseling services to the active employees in addition to the retirees of the district. And the history of this is currently, and in the past, we have been doing this service in-house. We've been using finance staff, very capable finance staff that were giving direction to the retirees as they were going to retire, and doing financial calculations and anticipations of their retiring with CalPERS. basically where we're at with our current staffing levels, and quite frankly, the level of expertise in that area and the staff time and training, it's not an efficient model for us to move forward to continue with that level of service. So we got together, staff and labor, and we met and we discussed moving forward potentially in a different direction. And we basically wanted to provide the best interest to the employees and the retirees, as well as the district, in a more cost-effective way than returning to that other practice using an outside vendor. And this vendor would be somebody that would specialize in CalPERS retirement and also in the financial planning of your retirement as it relates to all your other related benefits. So staff solicited proposals from a select group of firms. It was Keenan Associates of Rancho Cordova, Mercer of Sacramento, Benefits Communication Network of Alameda. Tia Kreff of San Francisco, and SST Benefits Consulting out of El Dorado Hills to provide employee benefits and retirement counseling and assistance with the CalPERS retirement process. Only one firm responded to our RFP. Benefits Communication Network was that one responding vendor. Staff believes that the lack of response from the other firms is attributed to the unique nature of the services requested, and that the district was looking for firms with extensive relevant experience dealing with CalPERS. Benefits Communication Network has been providing benefit and retirement counseling and assistance to public safety groups throughout California since 1988 and is currently representing more than 175 agencies. And I have an extensive list of those if you're interested in specifics. Orange County in Southern California, Alameda County Fire in the East Bay, San Mateo County Sheriffs, and I've actually spoken to a lot of their folks involved in that program as well and the research into this project. They are highly regarded by their clients and CalPERS staff alike, and they have demonstrated a track record of delivering a high-quality level of service to the employees. The fee for this service is $3 per month per active employee, which equates to about $2,100 or $21,600 per year at our current staffing level. But in addition, all the retirees into perpetuity get this service for free. So we're paying for actives at $3 a person, and then the 800 plus members that are retired get the services for free. This fee is fixed for life of the agreement with no CPI or inflation adjustment, and the term is open-ended with a provision that the agreement can be terminated at the option of either party just with written notice. Services continue, as I stated, to the retirees, even though only the actives are the members that we pay for. So our recommendation tonight is to adopt the attached resolution authorizing the fire chief to execute the attached agreement with Benefits Communication Network. And I'm sure you have questions. We're able to entertain those.
All right, questions? We'll start on this end and work our way around to Director Scheidegger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I think this is a great idea. Retirement planning is one of the most important things that a person will ever do, and I'm glad that our people have this available. A couple of questions. One, I noticed that the company that we're contracting with is in Alameda County. Will there be sufficient opportunity for our people to make contact? I mean, if necessary, can they have a personal contact? How is that going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, the way it works is our folks will be initiating contact and we'll be meeting outside of work hours at their residence or whatever they work out. These people will come to their residence. They actually have clients here in the Stockton area. They have Sacramento City Probation, I believe, is part of their deal. So they have a network in Northern California, Central California here proper. So that's how it would work. They're all over the state, up and down, north, south, and it would be something where they come out as independent folks to your residence or location where you wanted to meet.
I like the answer. Thank you. One other question. In the contract itself, it talks about non-disclosure, and the paragraph I'm referring to on page 4, item 7, refers to our non-disclosure of their proprietary information. Are we also protected to assure that they're not going to have any disclosure in terms of personal information relating to our people or our operation?
I'm going to let Ken answer that one.
Yes, all the personal financial information, I mean, remains confidential. And the non-disclosure here is just,
They're proprietary?
right.
Yeah, okay. But we're protected also in
Yes.
terms of our operation as a department, as well as the personal information that pertains to each of our potential retirees.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And in meeting with the representatives, they don't have access to our system or our accounting systems at all. It's all external,
Okay,
information generated.
thank you.
Director Newcomer, or? Do you have any-
First, I'd like to thank the chief for spending some time with me Monday on this issue, and I think it's invaluable. I'm glad to see we're moving this direction. One thing I didn't pay attention to in my earlier conversation with the chief is item number 6, the competitive restrictions. I don't think it's an issue, but with our deferred compensation third-party administrator, we have 2 to 3 occasions a year for employees to set up appointments for financial planning. And they work with retirement calculations. That's already in place, so I don't know how that plays in here, but I thought it should be mentioned.
Yeah, and that's understood. And I know that, as far as, I'm hoping those two systems complement each other and that it's a seamless addition to a service that, I know these folks specialize in literally walking people through the CalPERS retirement process. And so certainly, the only thing that I think the district is trying to do here is provide more information and more opportunities for people to have increased awareness to all the options out there. And so it's the intent of the district, or at least the staff providing, is that this is something where they integrate with each other and not in competition with each other.
Right, this comment, I think, is probably more for information for them to so that they come in with the knowledge that this has already taken place.
Well, also, I want to add on to that is as people in the organizations change, somebody else might pick this up, and if it's not in there, can interpret it differently too. So by putting it into the contract, very specific, eliminates that possibility, so.
Doesn't the last sentence of that particular section answer the issue? At all times, individual district members shall remain free to obtain services and products from any source they deem fit. Doesn't that cover us?
President Jones.
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah, I reviewed this, and this particular paragraph is intended to prevent the district from,
Contract.
while this contract is in place, from seeking for contracting for the same services for which this company is providing their manpower and efforts and proprietary information and software and things like that. It doesn't prevent the district from contracting for other services not covered by the agreement, nor does it prevent individual members from talking or contacting any other person or group for these same services or any other financial or other related services regarding their retirement.
It refers, yes, to the district as opposed to individuals. Chief, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say I've had previous experience in previous employment, both on the labor and management end with this company, although it wasn't my recommendation that they come, it was actually Ken Campo brought it up, which was kind of surprising because I didn't think about it. But I want to make it clear that this is a retirement planning tool. The key here is that these people will walk retirees through the PERS system. And when PERS gets your numbers wrong, which they do with regular frequency because they will deal with PERS on behalf of the employee or the retiree to make sure that those issues are corrected. And as it relates to existing 457 plans, that we currently have a 457 plan, our current provider is Nationwide, These people wouldn't represent the 100-plus agencies in California if they were in there trying to shark out of the deferred comp plan the money. And it has been my experience that they don't do that. And I know there was some concern. I talked to Director Newcomer on Monday. There was some concern with the deferred compensation plan that some of the people that are on the committee, that, these people would be moving in and saying, well, we think you should take your money out of deferred comp and you ought to put it over here in our plan. And what I will tell you from the personal experience in dealing with this company, they wouldn't be where they are today if that's the way they operate. They know that. They are there to complement and really take the retirement part of it with PERS and walk you through that. They also are there if, unfortunately, you have a line of duty death and they have to deal with a spouse, or after a retiree is retired, they pass away and their spouse needs to know, how do I deal with the medical issues at PERS? How do I get things transferred over? What do I need to do? And so it's an invaluable service. I am at least very, very confident through experience. Santa Clara County, Fairfield, down in the Bay Area, the Sacramento region to Southern California, these people come highly recommended, and their demonstrated experience has been they deliver, and they are not a unreputable organization that will come and try to divert money. They are there to help our retirees and our current employees.
Director Rosali, did you have any questions or comments?
I'd just like to emphasize how impressed I am with not only the proposal, but with the Sac Metro for having this forward-thinking initiative. This sort of thing should be much more common in public service. It is not, and it's regrettable.
Any more?
Since this is going to be a new service provided by this company to us, is there going to be a pamphlet identifying the services that they can provide to the employees?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. One of the things that they do, this is a broad-reaching company and service. They actually put together a pamphlet that is only specifically tasked to Metro Fire and every benefit that every member of our agency enjoys. And I would tell you, just having oversight of the HR division, I think it's really our benefits and everything. It's a complicated landscape. But I've read through in their proposal, they had one that was an example from Oakland Fire. And it literally walks you through every single step of the benefits that are specific to Oakland, making sure that everybody and every member of the agency fully understands every benefit offered, and then that they're maximizing the enjoyment of that benefit, if you will. And it goes all the way to they help out with workers' comp. And it's from an employee advocacy standpoint. In fact, a lot of the contracts that they have are actually with the associations, not necessarily the employer, but the employee organization. And so I think they're going to find from a user level that this is a group that is expressly interested in the benefit of the employee, and they're going to help all the way from identifying benefits, dental, vision, whatever it might be, all the way through retirement, injury, financial planning if you decide to go that direction, but not, certainly services that you can smorgasbord and pick what you want, and hopefully with no, unsolicited pressure.
And I just want to add more direct to the point is that the outreach will be to all our current members and the retirees. So there will be an outreach that's done so that our employees, both active and retired, will have a phone number that they can call to set up an appointment and a pamphlet that shows them what benefits are allowed. And one last clarifying point that I think is important. In today's ever-shrinking economic circumstance, I think this is another example of where the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire Protection District is working smarter and for less money. To get this service for basically 1,400 to 1,500 people for the 21,600 is far less amount of money a year than if we assigned a person that's fully paid, benefited, and burdened that probably would be somewhere between, with benefits and everything, 75,000 or higher. And this frees up our staff to be able to do those more important things that they need to do, and it provides the employees an expert advice in how the PERS system works as it's tailored to us. So it's a win-win on all 360 degrees as you take a look at it.
Director Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just really quickly, in item 14, I just wonder why we can't put something like a 30-day notice for termination. I envision that without that, they could just send us a letter one day and we're done. Services are over, and you may have a retiree or a soon-to-retired person be in a lurch while we look for another agency or another vendor or what have you. So I'm wondering, it's pretty peculiar for us to have a contract where just send them a note and you're done versus, give them a little bit of head start, maybe 60, 90 days, so that if we knew it was terminating, we could help our employees transition, go out and search for a vendor and transition. So I'm just wondering why we didn't include something that at least allows us to know that that's their intent and that we could start to plan for that versus it just dropping on our doorstep one day.
If I can answer that, I think the reason is because it would be us who would elect to get out of this at a moment's notice if we had a problem with them. Their incentive, if they want to stay in the business that they have, is not to treat any organization that way and just pull out and walk out tomorrow. If they were going to pull out and walk out tomorrow on us, they're going to be walking out on probably 100 and something different agencies in California. So they're really the only specialists that deal in this scope as far as PERS. And so the necessity of having a 30-day notification, I quite can't imagine what, though in most contracts you would be worried about that. In this case, I don't know what would
Trigger that.
Yeah, would trigger that. I mean, I guess if the company entered into insolvency or something and filed and said they were no longer viable, but you'd have well in advance information on that. So
Well, Chief, the other option is just always owe them a penny. Okay, let's move on. Item 16. Who is the city? See, Campo got that because he's a CPA. He thought that was funny right there. You see him? He's laughing.
That should be,
Who is that?
Probably the district instead, huh?
Well, I couldn't find any reference to a party in this contract named the city. So I don't know who that is, and
Right.
yet it's attached
that
to,
was a carryover from a previous agreement.
it's kind of what I figured.
Boilerplate, council pointed that out to me earlier this evening.
So we're,
Should be BCN, and that'll be.
okay, I just wasn't.
Or
you know,
BCN.
What's the, we have another entity in this agreement that I'm unfamiliar with. It's
We will get that cleaned
not a
up.
problem. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, so that won't be a problem
catch.
to approve this in front of us with the cleanup language.
There'd be no problem.
All right, thank you very much. Are there
Take a
any-
motion, we adopt.
Good, first and seconded, please. Any further discussion? Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Director Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Newcomer.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Absent Kelly, Clark, and Pearson. Motion passes.
Thank you. Action item, and thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it. It's a great program. Item number 3, resolution, that will be dealt with later in closed session. I had misnotated here. Item number 2, bid award, Fire Station 65, concrete entrance and exit ramps. Cochran and Jones. Welcome to the podium, Chief Cochran.
President Jones, Directors, Scott Cochran, Deputy Chief, Support Services. Tonight, I am we're presenting a staff report for board approval on the replacement of Fire Station 65 entrance and exit ramps. On August 22nd, 2012, the Sacramento Metro Fire Department District released a request for formal bid for an all-inclusive materials, labor, construction for the entrance and exit ramps at Fire Station 65. The RFFB was posted on district website on August 22nd through September 4th, 2012. A notification was published in the Sacramento Bee on August 23rd and again on August 28th. Interested parties were required to submit their bid to the board clerk no later than September 4th. 3 companies submitted sealed bids. Delta Enterprises at $90,549, Central Valley at $114,900, and Newland Entities at $158,000. The fiscal impact of the district is coming out of the 2012-13 budget of $90,549. Funds have been captured and are available through revenues that we received back
from some redevelopment fees that the district received back. And we were requesting the approval of this. And we appreciate the support of Chief Hinkie, recognizes the need to put the money back into the fire district, and this is a good start.
So move.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? I do have one, excuse me, Chief. For the sake of the record here, we had a similar, the discrepancy in the bids from 90,000 to almost 160, which we have a $68,000 discrepancy. Is that just the way it came out, or do you think there might be a potential issue here?
Well, we hope there isn't. We made a phone call. We had, our facilities manager made a phone call to Delta Enterprises, went through the bid line by line with them, and they were assured that they were right. I actually talked about it with a construction person today outside of, that actually sits on this board. And he says that there's a variety of reasons why potentially there's this. One might be that this company may have all their own demolition equipment where another company may need to rent it. There's a variety of different reasons why this kind of a discrepancy may occur, so
the discrepancy isn't, it's not a large like a big outlier type of thing. It's
it's a pretty straightforward project. It's basically they tear out the concrete and put down some more.
All right, well, thank you very much, Chief. The motion has been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Newcomer. Scheidegger.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Directors Kelly, Clark, and Pearson absent. Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. We will return to action item number 3 after closed session. We have no presentation items. Have any come up since the agenda was printed up? No further no presentation items. All right, we have President's report. We have no executive committee that's another thing. But one issue that we have on the horizon is we have completed the fire chief's annual evaluation. And per our policies and direction and consensus amongst the board members, we need to think about moving forward with the council and the clerk evaluations as well, assuming we'll probably use the monkey survey. And we have worked with that, and we've had multiple discussions about that process. So what we need to do is start to think about how we want to handle this process in the near future for our other remaining 2 employees of the board. So please put that on your calendar to think and ponder, and we'll eventually get there. Okay, Fire Chief's report.
President Jones, Board of Directors, the first priority that I really want to report on tonight, and just alert the directors, although I think some of you have received some feedback from the community out there, is our recent business self-inspection program that we initiated through Fire Recovery USA. And there's been a lot of questions in regards to how we came up with our fee schedule and that for the fire life safety inspections of businesses. And I just want the voters out there and then the constituents and the taxpayers to know, and especially the business community, that we're required to inspect around 20,000 business occupancies in our district. And so we put together a program that would be the least onerous and expensive on the business community that we could. If we were to hire the amount of inspectors we would need at fully burdened rates to go out and do those inspections, it would be a huge expense to the district and to the taxpayer. And clearly under fire prevention, we have the ability to do cost recovery to cover that as part of a business expense. And so I've received calls from Roger Nilo from the Metro Chamber of Commerce. Had a great conversation with him 2 days ago. And the questions really were about outreach and how did we do that. Now, I think it's important for the people out there that are watching to know that we did this in an extremely transparent manner. We hired an outside third-party evaluator to come in and analyze our direct and indirect costs. And once we established what those costs were, then we put a program together, and had we just gone out and said we're going to provide the inspectors to do every inspection, the cost would have been around $190 and some change to each business owner out there. And clearly the board of directors and the administration felt that, and after talking to the business community, that would be a little overly onerous, and that in the era of technology and computers and the ability to look at your own business with a check sheet, we could, over a 3-year period, have self-inspections done 2 of those years for half that price. And in the 3rd year, we would send a uniformed inspector out to actually conduct the more expensive one. And what this has done is this saves the business owner about 1/3 over a 3-year period of what the cost would be. So we put that together. I want to reiterate to the public out there, if they're watching, we went and met with the Chambers of Commerce in the cities that we represent, Rancho Cordova and Citrus Heights. We met with the city councils of Rancho Cordova and Citrus Heights. We met with the Builders Exchange. We met with a variety of people out there that were in the business community that we would be dealing with. We did not deal with the Metro Chamber, simply from the fact that it's a regional organization, that we're a sliver of what they represent, and we're a sliver of a county, although we're pretty large, and they represent all the surrounding counties as well, Yolo and Placer and El Dorado. So we met with all those stakeholder groups first before we ever brought this to the board of directors. And once we had done that and we had gained consensus on what we thought would be reasonable, that's when we went ahead, and of course it was voted on in open public session, and we initiated it. And I think the consternation out there is that, and this is hard to admit, but we weren't necessarily doing our job in inspecting these occupancies. A majority of them were not being inspected. And that's letting down the business community. It's a fact that 80% of businesses, if they suffer a major fire, don't reopen. And we should have been in there, and we weren't taking care of what we needed to do. The board recognized this, the administration recognized this, and we had to fix it. And so we're required to do those inspections. We're out there, we're doing those inspections. And so for the first time, they're actually receiving a bill. And you can imagine that it's a shock to them that they're being billed for this. And as I explained to Mr. Nilo from the Metro Chamber, is that at the end of the day, this is something that has to be done. We don't have the staffing level to put on there. It would be a burden to the taxpayer to do that. And so we did what was appropriate and what was reasonable. And at the end of the day, we've had people call, some of them out of clarification. You can get on the Sac Metro website. It gives you very, very specific instructions on what we're doing. And we are moving forward in this process. This should have been going on all along. People who have not been inspected have not received bills. The bottom line is you can look at it from 2 ways. 1, it wasn't a real good safety issue that you weren't being inspected. 2, we weren't following our responsibility. And 3, if you want to look at it from this aspect, you weren't receiving any bills for a period of years, so you're probably money ahead in that aspect if you want to look at it. But it's a business. And the public wants us to run our organizations more like a business every day, and they're right to demand that. The chamber's right to expect us to do that. And you've seen business decisions made every week when we get together on here where we're streamlining. It's not that public largesse. It's about how do we efficiently operate as a district and go out there and do that. And in the end, it's about the business owner's safety, it's about their livelihood, and it's about the citizens that are going to occupy those businesses' safety. And so we take it very seriously. We appreciate the feedback that we have gotten, and I will be providing a detailed analysis on everything we did, the public outreach that we did way before we ever came to the board, to Mr. Nilo, and we appreciate him contacting us and talking to us. And I just want to reassure the citizens out there and the business community, who's important to us, that we are trying to make this as less onerous as possible. And last but not least, what I was informed today is that we did this self-inspection program so we could cut the cost in half for the people and make it easier for them. and we will spot check with engine companies to make sure that people aren't pulling the wool over our eyes. But we will also, every third year, and you don't know when that's going to happen, have an actual inspector go there. But I was advised this evening that what we weren't prepared for is the opt-out, which means that we have a bunch of businesses who said, I would rather pay the $190 and have somebody come out here and inspect my business. So we're on pace for about 1.5 to 1.6 inspections per company, engine company, that would go out to take a look at these businesses on a shift, which is not a huge amount. But that shows you that there's a lot of people in the business community that said, listen, I don't really care about doing it for less money. I want somebody to come out to my business and take a look at it for the first time going through this, and perhaps they'll pick up on that. So I think that's been an interesting issue that's happened. Very rarely do you have people say, well, I'd rather spend more money and get the person out here, but we are experiencing that. I wanted to brief the board on that and bring you folks up to date, and at the conclusion of my remarks, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'd like to let everybody know that the month of October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have authorized our members to wear Metro Fire pink T-shirts in honor of breast cancer. So you'll see the crews out there doing that. Also, the Carolyn Martinez, former fire chief Rick Martinez's wife, passed away a little over a year ago, and they have their annual breast cancer awareness golf tournament, which I'll be talking about here shortly. Also, myself and Deputy Chief Cockrum attended the IFF Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Colorado Springs. There was approximately 20 to 30 Metro personnel that went back there and attended that event. I would urge anybody who has ever the opportunity, as you all know, we have several members on that memorial wall back there in Colorado Springs. It is something to see, I believe, over 250 pipes and drums playing at the same time. It's very emotional. It's a very somber event. And of course, you have the families of the people that were put on the wall there this year present. That was the third time that I've attended that event. We make it a regular event for us because we do have members on that wall, and it's a respect level to the families. So we attended that event, and we're well represented both by the management staff here as well as the labor organization, Local 522. We've held 4 WebEx meetings this month with the crews. It has been, I think, very successful. We have really talked about fixing the unfunded liability in retiree health care and those issues that we need to do. I think it's furthered the conversation. We've talked about a lot of the different perspectives that we're dealing with in the district and how responsive and on top of it, the board of directors, the administration, and labor has been in working together to resolve very, very serious issues. It's been a positive deal, though, from the standpoint that we're making significant progress in those areas. And so we look forward to continuing on with the WebExes. I think it's probably the best thing that we ever did. I know there's one person out there that thought I should write long emails instead, but I think there's nothing better than hearing it straight from the horse's mouth and having staff there be able to answer those questions. So it's been very, very good, and I appreciate the directors who give me heads up on what they hear, because you're in the stations, as I would expect, dealing with the working men and women out there that work for us. You guys give me heads up on what some of those issues are. I appreciate that, and if I miss them, bang me over the head again, because I try to bring those up in those things to clarify some of the rumors that are out there. I also attended on the 21st Executive Board dinner for Cal Chiefs on Thursday down in Ontario, and then a meeting on EMS delivery and where we are headed in the state of California in regards to the fire service. We talked about ambulance transport, 201 rights, and what direction the fire service is headed. AMR had representatives in there, private ambulance industry, at our meeting. It was very open, no hidden agenda there. And how it's going to relate to the transfer of the healthcare system under the healthcare, people call it Obamacare, but the National Healthcare Act, Affordable Health Care Act. And I think, there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that is going to save a lot of money in the healthcare industry, and we are going to see the whole healthcare issue of transporting people just to an emergency room change. I think you're going to see this district, fire departments across this state and this country, as well as the private ambulance companies come together in a business model that means treating more people in their houses and leaving them there. In other words, having the ability to go and treat somebody for diabetic issues who don't need ALS capability at the hospital. You're going to see that start to merge where we're not transporting as many people. And the reason that that will save money is it's better to put money on the front end and treat them instead of having them go to emergency rooms where you have long wall times and long waits and people are waiting to get in. It's easier to treat somebody for $1,000 to $1,500 out in the field, leave them in the comfort of their home, set them up for an appointment down the road at a clinic than it is to take them to the emergency room where it's $3,500 to $5,000 to treat that person. So this is about lowering the overall cost of health care. The fire service is a community-based system that has been in place with infrastructure and fire stations and ALS capability and paramedicine. We have the ability to be on the cutting edge. We intend in Sac Metro to be on the cutting edge, and Cal Chiefs intends on working very closely with our partners in the private ambulance industry to make that happen, as well as Sutter and Kaiser and all the HMOs that are out there, because that's the people that are spending money. Hospitals today are being charged fines and money when they release certain types of patients, cardiac patients, and they're readmitted to the hospital within 30 days. They get fined. So we're part of that system where we have to be looking cutting edge about, can we help them with the follow-up on those people? Can we have a different delivery model that sends somebody around, not perhaps an engine company or a firefighter medic, but do we have a different delivery model where we can go check on those people on behalf of those companies that will pay us to do that, to make sure that we don't have the return rates into those hospitals and save, the hospital's money, but more importantly, give that assurance to that patient who's been released from a cardiac issue, peace of mind that they're being checked on in their own home. So stay tuned. I think that this is going to be a huge advent. We are on top of it. Assistant Chief Scott Clough will be attending a big forum in Washington, D.C. in regards to this issue. I believe our department is on the cutting edge in dealing with this. We're working very closely with the state organization, Dr. Backer, and them. We want to support them on the state level on how they can make this this transition, this leap into what the modern delivery system is going to look like. Also, on the 5th is the Tom Lawson Community Impact Golf Tournament. As we all know, Director Lawson was a member on our board for many years and unfortunately passed away after a long and courageous battle with cancer. So I encourage everybody on the 5th, if you hadn't signed up, to play in that tournament. And it raises money for, I believe, food and stuff for the labor community that doesn't have the ability, they're out of work. And let me talk about that a little bit because it's important. As we sit here today, if I can editorialize, and you read the front page of the Sacramento Bee today, there's 700 families at Campbell Soup that don't have jobs. And I talked about that in our WebEx to our firefighters today. Those people went in this morning. I actually ran into Vic Shada, who is the Teamsters representative for those people, today in our lobby. He's known some of those people since 1969. He's known those families for over 40 years. They showed up today and didn't have a job. And I want those families to know, and people like Tom Lawson that put these types of tournaments and these types of fundraisers and the pantry system together to be able to deliver food and help to those families now that all of a sudden wake up one day providing a service for 30 years or 40 years in a plant that had been there for, like I said, since the late 60s. And they no longer have an income coming in. And this isn't the environment to go from that manufacturing job into something else and make that easy transition. So I urge people, if you can't go to the golf tournament, please donate that type of revenue or funding that you can give to help those people out that are going to be out of work. The second annual Carolyn Martinez Memorial Golf Tournament is also going to be on the 6th, the next day. So for all those people that like to play golf, you can go out there and get sunburned twice. It is also a worthy one for breast cancer. I talked about it. You can get on the web at golfforcarolyn.com. That's golf4, F-O-R-E, Carolyn.com, and sign up. On the 6th, Safetyville Firefighter Chili Cook-Off from 12 to 4 at Safetyville. It'll be the firefighters competing against each other. I believe we won that last year. I'm hoping we're going to win again this year, just like in our defending championship for the Golden Bear Award at Cal Expo. Not that we don't want to dominate, but we like to win here at Metro Fire. So we encourage everybody that competes to have a great time. And if we lose, we still have a good time out there in those events. And it's for Safetyville, which just provides a wonderful environment out there for families and kids to look at things, to educate them in regards to the safety issues that are out there. On the 13th is the Firefighter Burn Institute for those people who would rather drink wine than play golf or do both. And the next weekend, go to the wine bottling fundraiser from 4 to 6 p.m. That's for the Firefighters Burn Institute. It's going to benefit the Burn Institute. It should be a great event and to be there. And then on the 13th, the same day, will be the Pioneer Mutual Hook and Ladder Society Fallen Firefighter Memorial at the Old City Plot, a cemetery. I attended that event last year. So that is a very worthy event. It is very, very cool to go and look at the old headstones and it's a City of Sacramento Fire Department, Metro Fire Department, and the unions and the association getting together. So they have both represented very, very well. And that's also on the 13th. Effective 9/17 of 12, we have new hires. Aaron Castleberry is a secretary for Deputy Chief Cockrum and Larry Davis. We've had a temporary secretary. He's done a great job part-time in there. But we finally have a full-time secretary. That has been long over needed for those two division heads who have a massive amount of responsibility and paperwork that goes with it, especially in that grant arena that's there. And so we finally got a permanent secretary on board. The part-time person will be remaining for a month or so to transition to make sure they can help out, and then we'll be off and running for that. And also we hired from the City of Sacramento, Gloria Bacani as a secretary for the Community Risk Reduction Division. If you can even imagine a division of that size had no secretary, it's beyond me. But we have one in there now, and that's part of all those hires are part of the cost recovery issues that we're trying to deal with and being able to maximize where we need to be able to be competitive, to provide the best service we can to our citizens and ensure that we can get cost recovery dollars and grant dollars coming into this very competitive market that we work in. On reinstatements, I have none. Reassignments, I have none. Retirements, I have none to report. Promotions, effective December 1st, 2012. Ken Lynn, to my right, will be the new network systems technician. He will be promoted to that. And those of you that know Ken know the district doesn't survive without his technical expertise. And I've never, besides Larry Davis, I don't think I've met anybody that works harder. I had to order him to take a vacation, and you did do that, didn't you? Okay, that's good, because I didn't want to have to demote you in the same day. Larry Davis finally took a week's vacation. I think it's the first one I've seen him take in the 3 years that I've been here. And so we were very happy about that, because we didn't want to have to terminate him for not following orders on that as well.
Did he leave his laptop at home?
No. Even in Hat Creek fishing, he was able to. He just told me we're catching fish by the hordes in the evening, but he had a great time. And he did not email us the massive amounts of emails that we're used to receiving at midnight, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So I think he got some rest. We are going through the final background check candidates background process for the firefighter paramedic recruitment. Our first academy starts the 15th of October. So that's important. We're also going through the final background process for the 60 single-role fire EMT paramedics for the single-role paramedic program. And that academy starts on the single-role paramedic program January 2nd. So we're making conditional job offers and moving forward on that process. We also have a computer system supervisor opening. Final filing date is 10/11. October 11th at 5 p.m. And last but not least, unfortunately, I will be on my scheduled vacation, which got moved in October. So a lot of those events, unfortunately, I will be unable to attend, but we will have staff there for that. And I'll be out of state, and I don't know who the acting fire chief will be for that vacation period, but it's my annual out-of-state trip to Wyoming. I'm sure Director Orzali will understand. All of us that like to hunt sometimes have to go do that on a regular basis. So with that, that concludes my remarks. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you, President Jones, or the board might have in regards to those issues I've covered.
Go ahead and forward-looking report with all that information. That's great. Are there any other questions or comments for the chief, fellow directors? All right, thank you very much. And so we'll have our operations report from Chief Holbrook. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you, President Jones, members of the board. My name is Christopher Holbrook, Deputy Chief of Operations. Since we've last met, there have been 2,372 EMS incidents within the district. Both Metro Fire and our partner AMR transported at a rate of 71%, consistent with our normal stats. In the 14 days since we've been here together, there have been 15 structure fires, again, pretty consistent with our normal stats, but I do want to highlight one particular incident. It was on the 21st of September in Carmichael, and citizens from this district actually pointed out an individual that they had seen leaving the scene of this particular fire. That individual was contacted by Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, subsequently interviewed by our own Metro Fire arson investigators. And while the case is ongoing, I am tremendously relieved to tell you that individual during those interviews admitted to not only that fire, but a considerable number of fires within our district over the previous months. The case is ongoing, and we will certainly keep you apprised as things go on, but I certainly don't want to jeopardize anything else with that. Currently, we have one individual that is deployed outside of Metro Fire. They happen to be in the great state of Idaho and working on a complex of fires that are now upwards of 500 and something thousand acres. Those are the types of experiences that you cannot buy, and we're very proud to contribute on a national level to those efforts. Last but not least, I want to highlight that before we come back here on the 11th, Fire Prevention Week kicks off, and that's from the 7th to the 13th. Metro Fire is sponsoring a coloring contest for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We will, those submissions are due, I believe, on the 5th of October. The winner will be announced on the 10th, and on the 11th, we will have that poster here for your viewing. And on the 12th, which is Friday, the winner of that contest will get a ride to school in a fire engine.
That's right. That's right.
So quite a special event for the district. We will post that particular winning poster everywhere that we can get it, including the website. This is a big deal for the community, and we want to treat it as such. So with that, I will conclude my comments and certainly available for questions.
Thank you very much, Chief. We appreciate it. Right. General Counsel's report?
No report.
No report. Is there a local 522 rep for a report? Right, thank you. Moving on. Committee and delegate reports. Executive committee meeting to be announced. Communications Center, JPA. Welcome to the podium again, Chief Cochran.
President Jones, Director Scott Cochran, Deputy Chief of Support Services. The Communications Center had their last meeting on Tuesday. It was a regular meeting. At that meeting, we made an offer of employment to a new center manager. Her name is Teresa Murray, and she would be coming from the city of Roseville, where she's been a center manager there for many years, and then prior to that from the city police department, where she helped to develop the construction of their newest communications center in the South area. So we're very pleased to have made her an offer of employment. We're hoping, once we get through the background and the entire process, as we would with Metro Fire, that we have her in play. We're hoping right now around the 27th October to the first week in November is what we're anticipating. During the regular board meeting, we adopted the final budget, and we also learned that the finance person, Richard Porcello, will be retiring from the Communications Center. So good news, bad news for the new center manager coming in there. She's going to have an opportunity to really dig deep and replace a lot of her staff and redevelop that. We're going to give her a lot of opportunity to really look at how that communication center needs to run in the more modern era here. So, and really, that ends my remarks. Any questions on them?
Questions? I have one brief, just a quick background one. Did Ms. Murray at Roseville, do they have a combined PD and fire dispatch?
Yes, yeah. She actually works for the police department, but they do have a combined dispatch center. She's really she has a lot of energy, and she's going to be great over there. We're really looking forward to it. We're going to give her a lot of good opportunity to really go into that center. We have a lot of infrastructure redevelopment that needs to be done over there. She has just redesigned the new CAD system for Roseville, which is going into operation immediately over there. So she's got and again, she built the City PD's center. So not only does she have good management experience, good experience in communications, but a good technical background. And she interviewed incredibly well, and she continues to present herself very, very well, very professional. So we're really excited about the opportunities.
And Metro Fire really looks forward to continuing that work with the JPA and help supporting and moving that forward. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. All right. California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Kelly's not here. The next meeting is, do we have any information from anyone on that? If not, the notice is that November 7th, 2012, 10 a.m. is their next meeting, and it will be at the California Emergency Management Agency on Shriver Avenue here at Mather, California. Finance Committee, Director Monk.
Yeah, we got no information since our last meeting. Next meeting is going to be October 11th, our next meeting at 5 p.m. here.
All right, thank you very much. Any information from the Policy Committee, Director Rosale?
There's no new meeting scheduled, waiting for the time when we think there's something to review.
All right, thank you very much. All right, at this point in time, we are done with our various committee and delegate reports. We will recess to close session for those items and return for action item number 3 and board member questions and comments. Thank you.